Welcome to the best ever PC benchmark channel. David here. Today we're dropping straight into PUBG to see if the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090 still dominates in 2025. We're using the AMD Ryzen 7 9800X3D with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3090. We'll be testing ultra, medium, and very low settings at both 1080p and 1440p. Frame data is captured using CapFrameX with overlays via Riva Tuner, so you get precise, real-world performance numbers. And hey, over 96% of you watching right now aren't subscribed. Let's flip that. The goal is 1,000 subscribers. Help us hit it by smashing the like button, dropping a comment, and hitting that sub button if you like no-fluff, data-driven benchmark content. Let's dive in. PUBG is one of those games where raw GPU power doesn't always tell the full story. It's notoriously CPU-bound in many scenarios. Still, the RTX 3090 shows it's more than capable of keeping pace, even in this aging, but still fiercely competitive title. Ultra settings. At 1080p Ultra, we're pulling in a rock-solid average of 250 FPS, with 1% lows staying around 150 FPS. The visuals here are crisp. Detailed textures, dynamic shadows, and excellent draw distance create a much more immersive experience for those who prioritize aesthetics. While the jump in image quality from medium to ultra isn't night and day, it's still noticeable in foliage density, post-processing effects, and global illumination. It's the kind of setting you'd run if you like your battlegrounds gritty and cinematic without sacrificing too much responsiveness. Medium settings. Drop down to medium, and the FPS climbs to an impressive 310 average, with 1% lows, holding steady at 160 FPS. This is a sweet spot for most players. You retain much of the detail that matters. Clear sightlines, decent lighting, and enough environmental polish to feel immersive, without the overhead of Ultra's heavier settings. Controls feel even snappier here, which is crucial in PUBG's high-stakes, split-second combat. Unless you're pixel peeping during replays, this setting delivers the best of both worlds. Very low settings. Now let's go full sweat mode. With very low settings at 1080p, the 3090 uncaps its potential, pushing an average of 320 FPS, while 1% lows stay at a ridiculous 180 FPS. This is pure responsiveness. The visual trade-offs are steep. You lose most shadows, lighting becomes flat, and terrain detail takes a hit. But what you gain is buttery smooth gameplay. This is the go-to for hardcore competitive players, especially those with 240Hz or 360Hz monitors. Every input feels instant, and every flick is razor sharp. If you're chasing every advantage, this setting is non-negotiable. Ultra is beautiful, but mostly reserved for those who want a cinematic experience or casual play. Medium is the all-rounder, visually satisfying without compromising performance. But for competitive edge and peak responsiveness, very low turns PUBG into a different beast, one that runs like it's strapped to a rocket. At 1440p, the load shifts more toward the GPU, but the RTX 3090 still has plenty left in the tank. PUBG's performance here remains stellar, proving that this card still delivers premium frame rates even when resolution goes up. Ultra settings. On Ultra at 1440p, we're clocking in an average of 180 frames per second, with 1% lows dipping slightly to 100 frames per second. Despite the higher resolution, gameplay remains buttery smooth, textures stay crisp, distant details hold up well, and the world feels a bit more immersive than at 1080p. The shadows and foliage density at this level add to the visual realism without compromising playability. For those who enjoy their chicken dinners with a side of eye candy, this setting absolutely delivers. Medium settings. Dialing it down to medium gives us a strong 250 FPS average, with 1% lows around 150 FPS. This is where things start to feel fast, flick shots tighten up, animations look cleaner, and the game just flows better. Visuals still look great, clear edges, solid contrast, and just enough detail to avoid looking flat. You won't miss Ultra unless you're comparing side by side. In terms of raw playability and polish, medium at 1440p is nearly perfect. Very low settings. Cranking things down to very low at 1440p unleashes the beast. The 3090 pumps out an average of 320 frames per second, with 1% lows at 170 frames per second. This is top-tier performance that stays consistent even in chaotic shootouts or dense environments. The visuals become extremely minimal, bare-bones lighting, stripped shadows, and simplified geometry. But the responsiveness is unmatched. For high refresh rate users and competitive grinders, this is the money zone. No distractions, just raw reaction time and visibility. Even at 1440p, the RTX 3090 provides way more overhead than you'll ever need in PUBG. Whether you're in it for cinematic immersion or esports level speed, this GPU doesn't just keep up, it dominates. Is the RTX 3090 still enough for PUBG in 2025? Absolutely. PUBG isn't the most GPU-intensive game, and the RTX 3090 remains overkill at both 1080p and 1440p. Whether you want jaw-dropping fidelity or raw FPS for competitive play, this GPU still delivers in every mode. Unless you're aiming for 500Hz monitors, there's no need to upgrade, yet. And that's it for this PUBG benchmark. Which settings do you roll with? Ultra for the eye candy or very low for the win? If this helped you out, hit that like button, subscribe to the best ever PC benchmark channel, and leave a comment with the next game you want tested. Thanks for watching. David signing off. Catch you in the next one, and may your frame rates always stay high.